So today we'll be making homemade pickles, so stick around.
Do it, Pruitt!
So I just wanted to take 1 second before we get into this and just say first, thank you guys for watching. It's awesome. And also just let you know that I don't plan on only doing food videos. This one and the last one are food related just because it's easy to do at home. But this weekend I'll be recording doing an oil change on my Honda ATV as well as replacing the carburetor on a tiller. So I'm going to be doing all types of stuff, maybe product reviews, how-to videos with gardening, food-related stuff. So I ordered some more camera equipment like a tripod and stuff like that so I can get better shots. So I hope you keep coming back because I'll keep trying to make the channel better. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through everything you need to make your homemade pickles. I've kind of done most of the chopping for us just so you don't have to sit here and watch me chop, but I've left one of everything here that I'll show you how I was chopping it. So really for the base of doing a homemade pickle is you need some apple cider vinegar or distilled white vinegar. I think the apple cider vinegar has a little bit better taste. Pickling or canning salt. If you don't have pickling or canning salt, you could use just regular salt from the round jar. And warm water. So that's really all you need to make a pickle is vinegar, salt, warm water, and then some sugar as well goes nice in there. After that, everything else is all up to you. So what I like to do is some mustard. I would prefer not to use ground mustard. I would rather use whole mustard seeds, but this is what I have. Black peppercorn, crushed red pepper, and then I have over here in our fresh ingredients some dill. I've already peeled some garlic. This is a habanero pepper that I cut up, and then also some sugar. And what we're pickling today is cauliflower. This is interesting. I found this at the grocery store. It's called the shishito pepper, and it's not spicy at all, so I kind of thought it'd be good. I like pickled jalapenos, and I thought I would try that. Green beans, and then the traditional, the old faithful, the cucumber. So I'll show you how to cut those up here in a minute. All I've done is prep this food. I have washed and dried my canning jars or pickling jars. So I do want to mention that I'm by no means an expert canner. So this recipe here today, I would highly recommend it be refrigerated. I don't know the unrefrigerated shelf life of these pickles or anything. I don't think I'm actually really canning it right, but we'll eat these over the next week or so. So we'll put them in the refrigerator. If you want to learn more about canning, I'm sure there's some great resources out there. I could put some in the description of some people that I like to watch. But you could can stuff that you could keep for a really long time unrefrigerated. But just that's my warning is I don't know if these are actually going to be canned all the way. So I will be refrigerating all of these jars until I eat them. All right, so I have a camera woman today. Luckily, Catherine is going to help me shoot this so you don't have to look at our cabinet the entire time and not me. So I'm going to start off. I have already cut mostly everything. I'm going to show you guys how I was cutting this. So I'll start with the cauliflower. I took off all of the big woody stem on the bottom, all of the greenage, and I just kind of broke it down. So really you just got to break it down. My one tip here though is to get a lot of the stem off. I like to cut the stem down the middle and not cut the top. And then the cauliflower really breaks apart for you. And that way you don't have like little pieces of cauliflower everywhere. So I'll just cut those up and put them in there. Cut this up. Really just breaking it down to a size that will fit in the jar. The green bean, super easy. I just cut off these ends where kind of the string is. And then you can either cut it smaller than that or just throw that in there. They go right in. The peppers, all I did with these was take this woody part off and put them in the jar. Now the cucumber, you have two different ways. So you see I've cut some of these as chips and then some others I cut them as spheres. So I'll show you a trick here. I'm going to grab my jar. And the hard part about this is like figuring out how far you need to cut your cucumber. So a little trick is I just like to take the cucumber, put it in the jar, put a little notch on it where I want to stop it at, and then cut it. What that'll do is make it real easy for you to just get spheres that fit perfectly into your jar. I kind of cut that the wrong way, but oh well. And if you wanted, you can even do like a little mix and match. They don't have to be exactly the same. You could cut some in there, but just looking at the space in there, I'm gonna just cut another one of spheres. They're easier to eat this way too. I mean, I love pickles, so this way I could just grab the sphere out. Get this one in there. All right, so once you've done that, we'll start adding our other ingredients that are gonna go in the jar with the pickle. So what I like to do is I peeled some garlic, just peeled and smashed. I'm gonna make this one the traditional dill pickle. Put some dill in there. A little bit of ground mustard. Some whole black peppercorns. And some crushed red pepper flakes. And if you're noticing a theme on this channel, I like stuff really spicy, so some habanero peppers are going in there. Now you could do something more like a jalapeno. You don't have to do habaneros, but they're really spicy and I like it. So I'm just going to continue to set these up. Like I said, this is the type of thing that you can make your own pickle here. You can choose what you like. I did find some coriander actually and some dill seed in the pantry, so I'm going to put that in some. So let me get these set up and I'll be right back with us making the actual pickle brine. So now we're going to start working on our actual pickle. So first thing we'll need is you're going to need 5 cups of apple cider vinegar. And for the amount we're doing, we've kind of like made this recipe a bunch of times the amount. So I'll post in the description the actual base recipe that we just multiplied by the amount we needed. So apple cider vinegar. We're going to need 5 cups of that, so that's 4. Start heating up the pan. We're going to warm this. We don't want to boil it, but we do want to warm this. We'll get 1 more cup. Give us our 5 cups. Then we'll need 10 cups of water. So there's our 10 cups of water. Then we will add into there our pickling salt. Now for the pickling salt, we will do 5 tablespoons. Then it'll be 10 tablespoons of sugar. Then we will just grab a spatula and mix this up. So what we've got here is the pickle brine has just gotten to where it's wanting to boil, so I turn the heat down. And I also have gotten a small pot of water that I've gotten up to temperature as well. So you have a few options here. So with the amount that I'm making, I'm going to use this measuring cup to scoop it out into here. But if you're making a smaller amount, you could use something just like a ladle, or if you had a smaller pan like this, you could pour it into here. This is probably your safest bet, and it just isn't really feasible with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of our pickle brine. And I'm going to pour this to where it fills it. And you want to fill it close to the top, but not to where when you open it, it goes spilling everywhere. Now we'll add the lid. Screw the lid on tightly, and then turn it upside down in the hot water and let it sit there for really only maybe 30 to 45 seconds. So I actually have done canning once before, like real canning, and you're supposed to submerge the entire jar in water when you can. Don't quote me on this exactly, but this is kind of why I was saying that these would be considered refrigerator pickles and not something that I would put in the pantry, because I think that it pasteurizes it or something when you do the whole bottom. What I'm doing is putting the lids in the water so that this part of the mason jar, this little seal right here, gets really, really good and soft, so that as this cools, it sucks up and makes a really good seal. So here's kind of your finished product. You've got your nice green beans, everything's good and mixed together in there, and we'll let that cool. And once it's cool, we'll put it in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all these jars, and we'll let you know how it turns out. All right, so now we've got them all put in their jars, put them all in the hot water, and really that's it. I mean, I just made a ton of pickles and really took me maybe an hour total, and that's with me recording it. So to make just like a jar or two of these is super easy. What I'll do is let them cool completely, put them in the refrigerator. You could honestly eat them as soon as they're cooled, but if you let them sit a day or two, they'll get a little bit better. Yeah, I highly recommend the cauliflower actually. Kind of the weird one of the bunch, but you can see I made big jars of it because it's cheap. You can get a big head of cauliflower and it just turns out great. So like I said, we've got cucumbers, green beans, peppers, and cauliflower. This has been Homemade Pickles on Pruitt Do It. See you next time.